I learned this little trick recently on how to make your PowerPoint look like it's Doodle software, and so let me show you how this is done. But before we start, let me show you the animation after it's completed. The first thing you need to do is to create the text information that you'll animate. Then you need to format the background to whatever colors you want. And then you want to format the text to be the color you want. The second bit of text, I use the Insert ribbon, clicked on Word Art, selected this, made it a little bit bigger. To get the paintbrush, I found one online. It needs to be a PNG file so that it doesn't have a background. So I'm going to go up here to Insert, Picture, and I'm going to scroll down until I find my paintbrush. Here's the original, and here's the one that I took out the pixels here so that background was clear. Then you place that artwork on top of the A for artwork text. Then you use Control C, then Control V, paste in the same paintbrush, but then reverse it by pulling on the center knob here, pulling it over and dragging it down till it's large enough to cover this orange piece and setting it right there. Okay, now that we have the position of the artwork, we'll close out these panels, and then we need to go to the animation ribbon and set the animation for the paintbrush to appear, and the same with the one down here. Next, we need to select the text and make that wipe. Now the wipes are going up, and we actually want them to go from left to right. So the way you change that is you need to add in the animation pane. And then when you have the animation pane up, you can go to the text and you need to change that to start with previous. And then you need to change the effect options, not from bottom, but from left. And you'll see it animate. So now let's do that with the title of the slide. The next thing we need to work on is the animation of the paintbrushes. They are both appearing, but you'll see that they're on click. And so if I click here and then drop down, it says start on click. I want them to start after previous. And actually the lower one, I don't want to start after previous. I want to start with previous. And so right now, if I were to animate this, all this would animate at the same time because they're all set to follow this first picture. So let's set the time that that picture comes in. So you click here, drop down, go to timing, and you'll see I can put in 0.2 seconds. And that means this will animate after the slide shows up 0.2 seconds later. Now what I want is for this to move across, and this is a little tricky. With your image selected, you're going to go and click here on Add Animation, and then you're going to come to More Motion Paths. It doesn't matter which one you choose, just select one and then click OK. Now, what I really want is I want this brush to go across the screen and disappear. So I have to use a custom path. And while it's moving, I'm going to have it wiggle like it's painting on the letters. So I click Custom Path, start here on the brush and make it wiggle a couple times, and then bring it off the screen like that. And actually I need to close this pane out so I can actually see it. That's good. So I'm going to do the same for this other brush. Click on the brush, add animation, motion path, any one, click OK, click custom path. Before I do that, I'm going to close the pane so I can see what I'm doing. Click custom path, draw from the brush, go straight across, then wiggle. If you have any problems with your brush animating across the content, you can minimize your screen a little bit, bring the zoom down by dragging on the slider, and then you can click on the line and right click and edit points. You see now it shows me where the brush will end up, and if I want to adjust the waviness of the line, I can do that on both of them, by the way. And so that's how you would make an edit to the curvature of your custom path. When you're finished, just click on the screen somewhere. Well, let's talk about how to get the timing right. So first of all, our paintbrush here will show up here on the animation pane. You see it's got two animations, so they should be pretty close together. So I'm going to take picture 18, I'm going to slide it up under picture 18. So the first animation is the appear, the second animation is the wiggle across the screen. And so I want that wiggle to happen about 0.2 seconds after the picture appears. I want the paintbrush to show up and I want it to immediately move. Then I want the text here, I want it to appear, and I want it to animate with the wipe, which is all set. But you'll see it's just too short. And if I click on this box and drag it around, I can move where it starts, which is like very quick after that paintbrush starts moving. So I put it at 0.3 seconds, but it's way too short. So let's change that. Click the drop down, go to timing, and change it from very fast to slow. Click OK. And you see it's now moving. Right now I know that is a little bit too long, and so I want the picture animation to be a little slower. So I'm going to click up here and do the same thing here so that the timing of that is a little different. So right now it's at 0.2 seconds and its duration is 2 seconds. So I want it to be a duration of, say, 3.4 seconds. And you can see over here that the swipe of the text happens faster than the movement of the brush, which is okay because the brush has to travel across the screen and off. Now let's look at the next brush. So we want this brush, which is 19. We want it to animate right after this animation for the artwork text. So we're going to click and drag these up, and you'll see that I want it to start as soon as the animation is ending for the rectangle. It's not important that the brush isn't finished. And then we want to move the brush animation to start just after the start of the picture showing up. Then, of course, the same thing, we have to adjust the speed of the two in relative nature to each other. So let's move this one over and just line it up right here at the beginning, and then change the speed. Change the timing from very fast to slow. No, it's animating the wrong direction too. I just noticed that. So let's change that. It has to come from the right. Easy mistake to make until you start seeing the animation. Okay, so the next thing we need to do is make sure that our paintbrush is going to resolve after the title is placed in. So we're going to have to click on this, drop down to a timing, and then change this to slow, and actually make it a little bit faster, I think. Make it 2.5 seconds. And so once you have your timing done, then you can go ahead and play it and see how it looks. After you see it play, you may have to come back and tweak these a little bit so that the timing is exactly the way you want it. Thanks for watching Points of Access.